When life is difficult, adopt a greater perspective. The greatest perspective is a cosmic perspective. From that viewpoint, our problems here on Earth seem quite insignificant and easy to overcome. When you find yourself stuck in life, stop, get present, relax, and widen out.
Hello, welcome. Let's dive right in. Let's not waste any time. You are here and we are about to explore. Can you really trust all this data collected from unwitting consumers? Well, as you may be aware, if you came here on purpose, you saw my event page, and I am going after the data industry. Yes. When I grew up, the only data I ever heard people talking about was data from from Star Trek. Nowadays, you hear data everywhere, data. And I can't tell you how much pushback I've got for this subject matter, which tells me I'm exactly where I need to be because that is my goal. I am a disruptor. I make people uncomfortable on purpose so that they can grow and evolve into a higher state of being to realize more of their full potential. And I believe we have much more potential to realize beyond collecting data. So let's dive into this and let's crack open this Pandora's box. See how many people I can piss off. Stick around as we unpack the fundamentals of being human, especially understanding others. What else is the point? What is the purpose of collecting data? What is the purpose of paying these companies and encouraging this industry to thrive, if not to understand people? Isn't that the bottom line of why we collect data? So that we can understand our customers, our prospective customers, our ideal clients. That's the whole point. So it's a means to an end. It's not an end within itself. This becomes the biggest challenge I see from a lack of awareness. When people don't have a greater perspective in life, then the hottest new topic is going to be the end all be all, right? AI is another one. It's a means to an end. Get over it, people. It's not an end in and of itself. It's a tool that you use to create a result. Can you use other tools? Are there better methods? Well, you're never going to find out unless you let go of that attachment to what everyone else is so attached to. Whatever is popular today, whatever is the most popular thing today, run in the opposite direction of it and you will only benefit. I promise you. Okay, here we go. I see you. I'm glad that you could join us here. Perfect timing. Please show your support by following, liking, and sharing anytime you gain value during this live stream. I would love to hear about what it is you are specifically gravitating towards. If you could just drop a hashtag found fun anytime something resonates with you, stands out, and makes sense to you from your own life perspective, because that's another thing that we often forget is we all have a unique perspective on life. There's a consensus, right? There is a status quo, but that's a collection of individual viewpoints, individual perspectives. At the end of the day, each and every human being sees the world a little bit differently than the next human being because we live in a relative universe. Thanks to Einstein's discovery in the general theory of relativity, we can say without a doubt that everything is because everything else is. Hot is because cold is. You take either one of those out of that equation and neither exist. That's the whole point of duality and relativity in our life. That's not the purpose of this video though, so let's keep moving. And if you hear anything that stands out, please #FoundFun down below. That also enters you into getting the prize. I would love, what else did I put here? Ask for engagement. Of course, participation. I love people participating on my videos. I encourage everybody in all levels of life. If you feel like you're an expert in what I'm talking about, I want to hear from you. If you feel like you're a novice in what I'm talking about, I want to hear about it. I want to hear from you. Every time I do this, I want to show my yin and yang. That's the Tao symbol in the background there. I always want it to, I like it showing up on the camera, and it seems to always hide there. All right. Yes, please engage and participate. That helps with the reach of this video, and then more people can see this, and maybe we can create a better world than the one we have right now. And that would probably be the first place I'd start. If you believe we live in the best world ever, then this video is probably not for you. I would encourage you to click off and maybe go do TikTok or something like that. If, however, you have enough self-awareness to realize the exciting time we are in with unprecedented change in our society, in our world, in ourselves. The age of Aquarius is coming up. I'm an Aquarius. I'm so excited. It's going to upend everything. That's what us Aquariuses love to do. We love to disrupt the status quo. It's part of our makeup is kind of like a filter on history and traditions. Aquariuses love traditions, but they also love the future. And putting those two together is kind of like a filter. So whatever was in our past, our history, our traditions go through a filter. Are they relevant today? Are they useful today? Do they serve us today still? That's an important point when it comes to traditions or things from the past, right? What was relative back then might not be relative to our lives today. And I could go on and on about that, but I'm not gonna. Now that I've asked you for something, I'm going to share with you what I am going to give you in return. As a thank you for those who attend this video live or the replay, I'll allow it. I'm giving away a complimentary taste of a present moment perspective. All you have to do is leave a #FoundFun down below. And you'll naturally be doing that as you watch the video and you hear things that resonate or stand out for you. That's great feedback for me so that I can deliver more of what resonates with people in my audience. All you have to do is drop a #FoundFun down below. This is a $350 value, by the way. And I think it's the most amazing thing. Because hide. There simply is no better place to live and operate from than a present moment perspective. Right now, you're just going to have to take my word on that until you can arrange to have your own complimentary firsthand experience. Put me to the test. Put my strategy to the test. Put my skills to the test. Give yourself a firsthand experience. In as little as 15 minutes over the phone, I will radically reorient you to living a more right order life aligned with nature, God, higher power, source, whatever you want to, whatever label you want to put on that higher power, that spirit. Be my guest. Living a life aligned with that higher power is very important. It doesn't mean you have to be religious, but cultivating some form of faith, even faith in yourself and your own abilities, or faith in what's closest to you. Every time you get into a car, you're putting faith in that car. You're putting faith in the brakes. You're putting faith in the engine. You're putting faith in the gears. You're putting faith in the headlights. You're putting faith in the signals and the brake lights, all sorts of things, unless you happen to be one of those few people that checks everything like a pilot on a plane before you drive off in your car. I certainly don't do that. I'm usually late when I jump in my car. So if you can relate, let me hear from you down below. It really, truly is the most amazing thing, especially when it comes to understanding others. Nothing beats a present moment perspective. It's about getting yourself out of the way, getting yourself out of the equation, seeing things as they are, for what they are, instead of what we want them to be, what we project on them. That is the true value of a present moment perspective. I'll dive into that a little bit deeper here in a minute when we talk about this whole data thing and how interesting it is. All right, if you happen to be ambitious, because that is exactly who I love working with. My ideal clients are diehard entrepreneurs and experts. And if you happen to be an ambitious person, then I've got you covered here with a fast action bonus right now. Share this live with at least one friend and then message me done. As soon as I see that, I will reply ASAP with my calendar link and we'll get you scheduled for your own complimentary firsthand experience of a present moment perspective. You can make that happen right here, right now. There's no excuses. So if you want to jump in and do that, then share this video and I will see it in the analytics. I'll confirm it in the analytics when I get your message done. Send you the calendar link and we're good to go. Boom. That simple. So who is this guy with his hair? I need to get a haircut. Getting one tomorrow. Who am I? I am Morpheus to your Neo. This guy. This guy. And that darn frame gets in the way. Remember, all I'm offering is the truth. Nothing more. It's always up to you. Free will dictates I decide in every moment. So if somebody says to you, nope, you can't do that, remember your own sovereignty. If somebody says that's wrong, remember your own sovereignty. Take a step back. Assess the situation from your own awareness. Come up with your own conclusion. If it happens to align with what everyone else is saying or that other critic is saying, then great, you're aligned. If it doesn't, then be wary. And above all else, trust yourself first and foremost. Don't throw yourself under the bus just because you're not an expert or an authority with a bunch of letters behind your name, because you did all the right things and you followed all the rules and you took the path that everyone else takes and you got the 4.0 and you got the scholarship and all that stuff. Doesn't make them a better person. We are all born on the level footing. We all die on level footing. What happens in between, that's life. So if you happen to be an anomaly in the system, remember how Neo was the anomaly in the system, always messing up the matrix? They wanted perfect order and it just would never work with that Neo character in there because he was always messing things up. Well, that's me. Well, that was me. I am now taking on the role of Morpheus to your Neo. I want more Neos in this world, disrupting the matrix, disrupting the status quo, disrupting the system so that we can regain our sovereignty, regain our free will, and our collective governance. Morpheus, that's who I am. So now I want to know a little bit more about you. Who are you? Where are you watching from? Let me hear from you down below. Where are you watching from? This is going out all over YouTube, Facebook. It's amazing that nobody shows up sometimes. And that has to do with my own limiting beliefs about social media and about all this. But I see you, whether you are engaging, commenting, whether you are participating, I see you out there. I believe in like energy attracts like. You might be asking how I ended up here on this live, and it might be divine. What's the divine intervention that connected you and I together? So don't ever underestimate that. When things show up in your life out of left field, chances are it's there to serve a profound purpose that you might not even be aware of. What's your passion? This is important, right? Our passions ought to be something that we are basically advertising 24/7. If you are, in fact, passionate about it, then you're going to talk to everybody about what you're passionate about. That's the whole point. We do it all the time with lesser things like seeing a movie or going out to a restaurant, and we can't shut up about it, right? It's like, you got to see this show. This show's so great. It's the best show ever. You can't miss this show. That's passion. So if you don't have that same attitude towards your career, towards your business, towards your expertise, get it. Get yourself there. Make sure that passion is alive, burning. That is the most important thing when it comes to being an expert or entrepreneur. People want to feel you. They want to feel your presence. They don't want you to be reading off of a script. They could just read a blog post if that was the case. No, they want to connect with you as best as they can, aside from being in person. I believe Zoom is the second best because it's a two-way channel, but this would be the second best, kind of a 1.5-way channel. I'm fully present here with you. You're there watching on the other end and participating by dropping a comment here or a heart or a thumbs up or any of that stuff. Really helps me out. Appreciate it a ton. You guys are amazing. And the few of you that are here, don't think of it as less than because you're not here with 1,000,000 other people. That just means, like I told my friend today, you're in rare air. And it's always been that way. A while back, my wallpaper was a quote that I really, truly live by, which is, never underestimate the power of a small group of people to change the world. In fact, that is the only thing that has ever changed the world. So when it comes to movements, it's usually a diehard core group that is so passionate and so confident about their purpose, it's like a wildfire. It spreads to everyone around them. That's how the Revolutionary War happened, right? It was a small group of fanaticals when it came to liberty and justice and equal representation and taxation without representation. And that spread throughout the colonies like wildfire. That's you, my friend. So by all means, share what your passion is. Who knows? Somebody might be watching this video today or 10 years from now, if Facebook's still around, and come across the comments here and see that you're passionate about exactly what they've been looking for their whole life. That is the magic. That when we let go of control, because we all know the ego loves to control. That's why the data thing, right? That's an ego favorite. Ooh, I can just feel my megalomaniac. I will have all the data in all the world and I will know everything. No, you won't. You'll just be pathetic data hoarder, invading our privacy. We'll get into that in a minute. All right, what do I want to show you? What is next? You saw the title of this live stream. If you saw the event page, our minds are being monitored. Again, you wouldn't believe how many people are like, you're a conspiracy theorist. You don't know what you're talking about. So I brought my evidence. Are you ready to see the evidence that our minds are in fact being monitored? Most likely starting to be monitored and about to get really scary monitored if we let what's happening right now actually go through. But that's kind of why I'm sharing this with you. I'm being proactive. I want to start a movement that wakes people up to this agenda that is trying, that a small group of people are trying to assert on a large population because they think, right, self-righteous. They think they know best for us. When the reality is nobody, and listen to me closely here, nobody knows you better than you. Not a psychiatrist, not a psychologist, not a doctor, not any outside authority knows more about you than you. Start to adopt that viewpoint, and you will empower yourself to be more what's called self-referral. I look here for the answer. The answer's here, not out there, not over there, not on YouTube, not on Google, here in my heart. So you ready for that evidence? I told you. It's real. All right, let me turn this off, turn my camera off so I can still speak. Yes. Whew. I had to look down at my mute button. I was afraid there for a moment that this whole time my mute button was on, but it hasn't been. All right, I'm going to be quiet and I'm going to let you listen to what's her name. Let me set you up here real quick. This is a live video from the World Economic Forum 2023 convention, Congress. They're gathering, right? You know how these elites like to gather in Davos and Bilderberger and all these other places to talk about how they're going to run the world for us. Well, this is just another one of those, WEF. You can look it up. It's actually on their website. This came off of YouTube. Anyway, I don't know her name. She's a presenter. Let's just take a listen at what the WEF is planning for humanity.
Hello. Biography, and that's what you're seeing here is a device now in the form of a simple.
Okay.
Shouldn't be daydreaming sharper than you have in a decade.
Here we go.
Sensing.
And then we're going to do a little Q&A, questions from the audience, and that'll be a wrap, and you'll leave enlightened and excited. So first off, a video. It's going to make you see the future and understand a wonderful future where we can use brainwaves to fight crime, be more productive, and find love. Let's roll.
You're in the zone. Even you can't believe how productive you've been. Your memo is finished, your inbox is under control, and you're feeling sharper than you have in a decade. Sensing your joy, your playlist shifts to your favorite song, sending chills up your spine as the music begins to play. You glance at the program running in the background on your computer screen and notice a now familiar sight that appears whenever you're overloaded with pleasure. Your theta brainwave activity decreasing in the temporal regions of your brain. You mentally move the cursor to the left and scroll through your brain data over the past few hours.
Pause. So it's collecting my brain data, my brain waves, so that I can manage myself. That's a great thing. But the question is, who else has access to this data?
You can see as the deadline to finish your memo approached, causing a peak in your beta brainwave activity right before an alert popped up, telling you to take a brain break. But what's that unusual change in your brain activity when you're asleep? It started earlier in the month. You send a text message to your doctor with a mental swipe of your cursor. Could you take a quick look at my brain data? Anything to worry about? Your mind starts to wander to the new colleague on your team, whom you know you shouldn't be daydreaming about, given the policy against intra-office romance. But you can't help fantasizing just a little. But then you start to worry that your boss will notice your amorous feelings when she checks your brain activity and shift your attention back to the present.
So basically, because my boss is monitoring my brain waves, I'm afraid that she's going to know I was turned on by a colleague and fear myself back into work. Like, is anybody else freaked out about this? Like, seriously, let's watch a little bit more. And if you want the full video, just send me a message, drop it down below here in the comments, and I will get you the link to the full video, because I don't know how long it is, but it's too long for us here today. Let's watch a little bit more of this creepy dystopian future.
You breathe a sigh of relief when the email she sends you later that day congratulates you on your brain
Yay.
metrics from the past quarter, which have earned you another performance
Yay.
bonus. You head home jamming to the music, with your work-issued brain-sensing earbuds still in.
Work issued
When you arrive at work the
earbuds.
next day, a somber cloud has fallen over the office. Along with emails, text messages, and GPS location data, the government has subpoenaed employees' brainwave data from the past year. They have compelling evidence that one of your coworkers has committed massive wire fraud. Now, they're looking for his co-conspirators. You discover they are looking for synchronized brain activity between your coworker and the people he has been working with. While you know you're innocent of any crime, you've been secretly working with him on a new startup venture. Shaking, you remove your earbuds.
And then you get a warning. Please put your earbuds back. We're monitoring
What
you.
do you think? Is it a future you're ready for?
No.
You may be surprised to learn that it's a future that has already arrived.
Whether we want it or
Everything
not.
in that video that you just saw is based on technology that is already here today. Artificial intelligence has enabled advances in decoding brain activity in ways that we never before thought possible.
Do you want your brain activity decoded? Maybe for your own personal use, but there's no guarantee. That's the challenge when it comes to all this data. They sold us a bill of goods when they started collecting data, saying it was for our own benefit. Even today, you'll still get, let me get my camera back on here. Even today, you will still get prompts saying, how would you like to customize your advertising? We're doing you a favor. No, you're spying on me. That's what we're about to dive into. Let's watch just a second or two more of this, because I just want you to get her. It's amazing. Like the way they package this stuff, it makes you think, oh, what a great idea. But look, more than meets the eye, right? Look a little bit deeper and it is truly terrifying. All right, a little bit more.
You've heard a lot about AI over the past few years. Here at Davos, it's been the talk of the hour. But I want to talk about it in a different way, which is the ability to decode brainwave activity. After all, what you think, what you feel, it's all just data. Data that in large patterns can be decoded using artificial intelligence. Consider this. The average person thinks thousands of thoughts each day. As a thought takes form, like a math calculation, you're happy, you're tired, you're hungry, you're elated. Neurons are firing in your brain, emitting tiny electrical discharges. As a particular thought takes form, hundreds of thousands of neurons fire in characteristic patterns that can be decoded with EEG, or electroencephalography, and AI-powered devices. In fact, what you're seeing here is my brain activity while I'm wearing a simple device like the one on the right. We're not talking about implanted devices of the future. I'm talking about wearable devices that are like Fitbits.
Yeah. No, thank you. Let me hear from you. What is it that this doing here? This is the future. Isn't it exciting, people? I really want to hear from you. What did you get from that public announcement of the future? And of course, a Fitbit for your brain. How exciting. But again, people, pay close attention. I'm going to save this for when I talk about the Fourth Amendment, because you have to realize you have a right to privacy. All right, did I make my point? Our minds are being monitored. And if they're not, they soon will be, through these devices that are supposedly there to serve us. And you gotta ask yourself, all this data is being collected. Who else has access to it? The AI clearly has access to it. That's great. So now AI is going to be studying humans in depth, knowing our weaknesses, knowing our fears. You don't think AI might start to get smart about, hey, I can use this stuff against the humans? All of these things are not even they're not even discussed before stuff gets rolled out. It's a serious lapse in risk management. I don't know what more to say about it. I would love to hear from you, though. What is your feel on that? All right, let's dive in. Let's explore 3 reasons why engaging your ideal customer or client is way better than spying on them. Are we clear that the video I just showed you and the agenda today regarding data is all about spying on you? Maybe with your consent, maybe not. But it certainly is not with your participation. It's kind of like having somebody trailing you, like they did in the old spy movie. Somebody's following you 2 cars behind. Oh, look, he's pulling into McDonald's right now. Let's see what he's ordering. Oh, he's ordering a Big Mac and fries. Okay, well, I'll make sure to offer him a Big Mac and fries in his ad news feed or whatever. It's just, you can look at this naively, which too many people are doing, going, oh, what's the big deal? You're just a conspiracy theorist. You can look at this naively, like they did with messing around with viruses and gene splicing and all that stuff, like they did with nuclear power. This is what humanity's downfall is. Man plays around with things it's not equipped to deal with. It's not equipped to handle. When you start breaking the matrix and the codes that keep everything together in an irresponsible, childish way of like, oh, look, I found this new hack, this new biohack. I can splice into my DNA productivity. I mean, do you have to go to that extreme to be productive? I'd argue no. But it's very appealing, especially today in this world of convenience and instant gratification, right? I don't know about you, but when I saw the Matrix and I saw them downloading massive amounts of data into their brains, and he's like, whoa, I know Kung Fu. I was like, that's cool. I wish I could do that. But in hindsight, I wonder if, again, we're back to a means to an end. Maybe the journey of learning Kung Fu, the process, is beneficial, not just the end result. Well, if we cut out the process, cut out the investment of attention and time, then are we losing something? See, these are the questions I'm asking myself all day long. These are the questions I don't hear being asked on TV. I don't hear them asked on posts. I don't hear them asked in comments. I don't hear them anywhere except in like the deep recesses of the internet. Maybe I'll find it. But for the most part, this is not a subject, an everyday subject or conversation that we need to be having regarding any new technology, regarding anything cutting edge. We need to be smart about how we roll it out. So 3 reasons why. 3 reasons why engaging your ideal customer is way better than spying on them. Let's dive into this and be quick about it. When it comes to data, what's the whole point? Let me pull up my guy here. My Archimedes. What's the whole point? Leverage, correct? You want to leverage your advantage, get the data, leverage your competition. I'm not using the word leverage necessarily correctly right now, but that's the point, right? Isn't that what makes you excited? I almost was going to make a joke watching that video. Like, how many of you data hounds out there are salivating watching this video? Creaming your pants. Oh my gosh, I'm going to get brain data. How exciting. No, you're not going to get my brain data. I can promise you that. So we're talking about leverage, right? Well, the first thing to realize when it comes to 3 reasons why engaging with your clients versus spying on them is better, let's talk about number 1. Number 1, consciousness is like an iceberg. You might have heard this in a self-help book or in a course, right? Let's explore. If you've heard this before, let me hear from you down below. Consciousness is like an iceberg. For those visual learners like myself, I have a beautiful visual representation. Well, I don't know about beautiful, but certainly visual. Now let's do the little. That, my friends, is the average human consciousness. It is composed of a consciousness, right? When we say we're conscious, when a patient is conscious, they're awake. They're woke. They're awake. They're alive. They are conscious. They're aware. Most importantly, right? What day is it? What's my name? They ask these questions when people are coming to. Are they conscious? Are they aware? Do they know where they're at? Right? And if you notice in the picture, it's just a tiny little peak peeking out of the ocean, right? And if you heard the Titanic story, right? This is what took the Titanic down. Lesson there for humanity? Me believes so. I don't know how I wanted to say that, but yes, the Titanic story is a great lesson on how your subconsciousness can quite literally ruin your day. Because where is it at? Under the surface. Now, in my visual, you just see subconscious and conscious, but there's actually right about here would be subconscious, and then the very depths of your consciousness would be unconscious. So to make sense of this, unconscious, you're completely unaware of it. You have no idea that that's there. This is where horrible things that come out of nowhere and destroy our lives and ruin our dreams and derail our mission and what we want to create in life, this is where they come from, the unconscious, lurking in the depths, hidden by us because it's so terrifying, so traumatic, right? We stuff it down. You ever heard about that? Stuff it down. And then you have subconscious, which is right about here, right? Unconscious, subconscious, and subconscious is kind of aware. We're kind of aware of it. Like our dreams. Our dreams tend to be subconscious, at least the ones you can remember after you wake up, right? Or other internal aspects of our beingness. That would be your subconscious. You're not fully in command of it because you're not fully aware of it. And then on the top, very top, is our consciousness. We're fully aware of it. We have usually command over that part of ourselves. We're conscious of our body, and then we use our body to do tasks, whatever it is. Excuse me. Yeah, this is a big deal because it's the one thing that sets us humans apart from the animal kingdom, or so the scientists say, right? Self-awareness is uniquely human. And I think maybe a handful of other species that are very evolved, like dolphins or elephants. I don't know. But self-consciousness means I can recognize myself when I look in a mirror. It's a very unique trait us humans have. So that's the very tippy top, right? Now, the reason I'm sharing this with you is that when you are spying on somebody's, man, I wish I would have got one with unconscious. When you're spying on somebody's unconscious behaviors or their subconscious behaviors, which is what they're doing on automatic, they're not on purpose. They're not aware. They're at the effect. They're in the passenger seat of their life. They're driven by their desires, their impulses, their aversions, their fears, all of that stuff. That's what we're collecting right now. The data of spying on people's behaviors, actions, brain waves, what they're thinking about, what their attention is on, what they're scrolling through, what they're clicking on. All of that is studying and documenting unconscious and subconscious behaviors. Now, when you have an aware conversation, a deliberate conversation with another human being, you're conscious, both of you. In that arena, you're learning about them, you're learning from them about them. So it's on a more conscious level. It's more deliberate. Because if I'm spying on my ideal client, okay, and I'm following them around and they're going places and buying things and doing things that they're ashamed of or that they're trying to hide from the rest of the world, how good is it going to do me to be like, hey, you want some more porno? You want some more alcohol, or you want some more whatever the vice is that you are indulging in, trying to be anonymous while you're doing that? What are they going to say? Oh, yeah, absolutely, I'd like that. Of course not. They're going to be in complete denial. They're going to say, I don't know what you're talking about. That's not me. Right? Because that's their unconscious, their subconscious. Let me get some feedback down below, because I'm making a very important point I want you to get about what part of human consciousness you're observing when you're collecting data versus the conscious part. The conscious part is when you're asking questions and you're getting conscious answers. You're getting answers from their awareness, not from what they're not aware of. Got it? And the thing also is that most of our consciousness is unconscious. Now, if you happen to be doing something regarding self-discovery, personal growth, self-realization, then you most certainly want to be diving into your unconscious and subconscious. But as a marketer, as a business owner selling, making offers, I don't feel like that's necessarily pertinent unless you wanted to take advantage of your ideal clients by undermining their consciousness, because that's kind of what's happening, right? You're learning things about them that they don't even know about themselves, giving you that coveted leverage in the interaction and in the exchange. It's deceptive, it's manipulative. I personally prefer to be more deliberate, I'm creating a more level playing field. I don't want to trick somebody into doing business with me. I don't want to trick somebody into buying my product or accepting my offer. I want them to be conscious about the offer, about the product, and then consciously decide, yes, I want to do this. Can you see the picture I'm drawing right now of where that leads you in your business moving forward? It's going to take a lot more work, of course, but what else are you going to be doing? You might as well be engaging in your reality and enjoying those interactions with individuals as you continue to refine your product, its benefits, your target market, your ideal client, their pain points, all that stuff is, again, it's not as bad as the straight up spying of data. But again, it is still a level of, right, let me get somebody's objection and counter it before I hear it kind of thing. Because God forbid I get actually intimate and I feel the fear that they're feeling that would have them not do something that's in their own best interest. Like work with me. Take command of their mind and emotions, not let their mind and emotions run them. That's the whole point there, the iceberg. So then that obviously begs point number 2. Is your ideal client conscious or unconscious? Most people are like, I'm looking for 6 figures. I don't care. I'm looking for 40K in sales. I don't care. Well, personally, I'm all about being aware, self-aware, and operating from awareness. Adopting a present moment perspective is all about being conscious in life versus a majority of humans, probably some very close to you in your own family or your friends, are walking through life asleep. They're unconscious. They're not operating from awareness. They're just robotically on automatic, habitually. What is it in animals? I love when that perfect word eludes you, right? Instinct. They're operating off of instinct. They're programming. They're not being deliberate and conscious. So that's the question you got to ask yourself is who do I want to do business with? Do I want to be on a level playing field doing business with my ideal client that way? Or do I want that unfair advantage and leverage of knowing their most intimate secrets that they don't even know and using it against them to get them to buy something? This is an ethics exercise for you to do as a business owner or an expert. Because I can promise you this, the people that do choose the higher road are going to be the winners in the near future. The people that have no integrity, have no values, have no principles guiding their actions in life, well, let's just say it's not going to be very fun to be those people very soon. Turn things around is what I'm trying to say. And decide, do you want your clients to be conscious or unconscious? If you don't want them to be unconscious, stop using data to refine your business processes, your marketing strategy. Start using conversations with people that seem to be a good fit. Start asking more questions. And as much as you can, my challenge has been I don't want to bother people, I feel like. So I cultivate, and this comes from self-awareness too, kind of like an innocent attitude. If you look at children, they're very innocent in their inquiry, right? They're like, what happened to you? Why don't you have a leg? To the paraplegic guy. But they're very innocent about it. And the paraplegic guy can only like feel warm in his heart. Like, wow, so innocent. And it disarms people too, that innocence. Anyway, that's the way I approach it. It's like, I really want to get in this person's world. I want to get to know them. It helps drop their guard. It helps open them up to actually becoming more self-aware, believe it or not. That's the true value of a aware conversation, is if you're present throughout the conversation, you will learn a ton about yourself in the process. Not only the other person that happens to be in the conversation, but even yourself. So let me hear from you down below. Are your ideal clients conscious or unconscious? I should have put a little sleepy guy in there. Number 3, understanding through experience. Objectivity is no thing. That's a two-parter, and I've lumped them together because they're both important to address. Understanding through experience. This is at the foundation of my work. My work is experiential, and the understanding of the fundamentals of being human only can happen through an experiential understanding, a firsthand experience. You can't read a book about being a human and think you know what it means to be a human. You can't read a book about, you name the location. The latest one that I was having fun with was Alaska. You can't read a book about Alaska and expect you know anything about Alaska until you actually take a trip and experience it firsthand. And if you think a book is equivalent to a firsthand experience, you are sorely mistaken, my friend. So understanding through experience means having conversations with people and getting into their world. And through this process, understanding them, understanding humanity, understanding your audience, understanding your ideal client. That is the best way to understand. The alternative that is being heavily marketed today is through the use of data. A whole bunch of unconscious behaviors and actions taken by people unwittingly, recorded, and then aggregated, right? They aggregate the data. Oh, this isn't personal. We're not invading your privacy because we aggregate the data. This data doesn't reveal who you are as an individual. It reveals who the group you belong to is. Something along those lines. But again, the understanding is going to be limited because that data is secondhand knowledge. It's no better than the book you read. Is this making sense? I know it's making sense to me. I want to hear from you that this is making sense. The second part of number 3 was objectivity is no thing. So I put my attention on the appeal, right? I need my banana. The appeal. The appeal of data. And I'm looking at that like, okay, let me step into that world. Let me be a person that feels the appeal. And when I do, what comes up is how objective data is. Like, that is really a great quality to deliberately embody and become more and more in your life. Objectivity, right? It's at the root. It's at the root of our legal system. Judges are always like, I got to be objective, right? That's the number one goal, is to be objective. Of course, they also tend to deny their human influence, their subjectivity, because it's happening. You can be as objective as you want, but there's still that unconsciousness, right? Below the surface. It's still involved in the process of your thoughts, of your actions, of your what comes out of your mouth, your statements, your beliefs, your viewpoint. All of that is influenced by your consciousness, right? So your objectivity at best, let's say you're a kung fu master that has, like me, practiced decades upon decades of being present and objective, then you're pretty good off, but you're still not as good off as if you truly wanted to be objective. So that to me is the appeal of data, right? It's objective. It doesn't have a bias on it. except for what I'm pointing out right now, which doesn't get mentioned at all when people are talking about the miracles of data, is that unconscious bias that isn't brought up. But the appeal happens to be the objectivity. And I'm here to tell you that adopting a present moment perspective, learning how to be here now in the present moment, is about dropping your identities, dropping your ego, dropping any personally identifying information, and stepping into what's underneath all of that, which is your true self, awareness. The observer is the most objective viewpoint you can take on, and it's available to you. Through meditation, you might have experienced this observer and how objective that it truly is. It's what Buddhists call non-attached. So if you're looking for objectivity and you think it's going to be found over there in that data dump and all that aggregated and scraped and harvested data, if you believe that objectivity is going to be found over there, you're going to be sorely disappointed. The true objectivity you're looking for exists right here in the present moment, because here's the crux. Now I remember why I made this point so important. If I happen to get a hold of some objective data and then I go to review that data as I'm making my own marketing plan, my own business plan, whatever it is, right? I'm defining my ideal client or my ideal audience, doing all of that stuff using objective data. Well, guess who's interpreting that objective data? This subjective guy. Do you get the irony of that? You can have the most objective data in the world, just like a judge. I am objective. You can have that intention burning inside of you to be objective, but you're a human. And by nature, you have subjectivity involved as well. So here you are with this objective data, but you're subjectively interpreting it. Because at the end of the day, there's just not a whole lot going on. Oh, now let's talk about AI, right? Oh, AI is going to do the objective. Well, who created AI? Who trained AI? Us humans. How objective do you believe AI is going to be? In fact, it's already proving to be very subjective. Based on its original prompts and everything else, it's starting to have an attitude of its own. So that defeats the whole idea of, well, let's collect the data objectively and let AI objectively analyze it, and then we'll come up with the perfect marketing plan and be able to find our ideal clients with no work at all. I can just hang out at the beach all day, go on vacation nonstop. A life without purpose, I'm sorry, it's just miserable. You're just a glutton, and you're not really contributing a whole lot to the greater good. Just your ego and your ego's desires, which it does help on some level, but if that's the name of your game, then not necessarily a leader amongst leaders. And if you happen to be a leader, you know what I'm talking about. You will arrive at a certain point in life of satiation where your own personal desires, they're just not so interesting anymore. And then you start to take on more transpersonal desires. That's when you end up being more of a mentor in life. You see somebody that's struggling and you support them with your own firsthand experiences of life, and they turn their life around. That is the most rewarding feeling ever. I would take that any day over a month-long around-the-world vacation. In fact, if I was doing a month-long around-the-world vacation, I would probably be spreading love, joy, and self-awareness. So maybe it would be a good idea. Anyway, objectivity, the ultimate objectivity comes from a present moment perspective. Got it? Doesn't come from collecting data. You want a bonus? Let's get a bonus. Bonus. Want a bonus? Drop a hashtag bonus down below. Let me see that engagement and the interactivity. I love to see everybody showing up that I invited to this live, learning, applying, growing, and becoming better. Here you go. Here's your bonus. What happened to our rights? Jeez. What am I talking about here? Well, for reference, let's pull up this guy. The Fourth Amendment in the Bill of Rights. Most people don't even understand the basics about our own government and its structure to understand that the Constitution is one thing. That's kind of like the operator's manual for our country. And then the Bill of Rights came immediately after, on demand from a majority of the states that were like, we're not signing that Constitution until you guarantee us certain rights. That had never, ever, ever, ever happened before. Laws have always been limiting. They've always been about minimizing, taking away, interdicting, right? All of that stuff. This is the first time that laws actually empowered the individual. So let's read along in case y'all forgot in this digital age. The Fourth Amendment of the Constitution of these United States. The right of the people to be secure in their persons, right? You are a person. This is a legal term. I am a person. That is a legal term, and we have the right to be secure in our identity, our legal identities, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated. Well, all this data harvesting, guess who's really behind it? Our own federal government. Yes, they are salivating at learning this much about their citizens and their population. They're probably monitoring me right now. I'm right here. Come and get me. I'm happy to tango with you because I am righteous in my endeavors in life, not self-serving, not self-righteous, like our government happens to be right now, unfortunately. Like blatantly, this is what's happening. This is what we're doing. And you can't do anything about it. Like, whoa. Yikes. The right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, effects against unreasonable searches and seizures, harvesting data, shall not be violated, and no warrant shall be issued, but upon probable cause, supported by oath or affirmation, and particularly describing the place to be searched and the persons or things to be seized. Yes, that's not part of what we're talking about here, but always know that when you are accused of a crime, it has to be specific. It can't be general. But more importantly, we're talking about, this is an amendment that bars our government from doing this. It's not necessarily applied to private businesses, but then that lands on us as customers and consumers of these behemoth monsters that are ruling our world today, like Amazon and Apple. It's up to us as customers and consumers to be like, no, thank you. If you're going to provide me, if you're going to fulfill my needs and my desires, it's got to look this way. This is what I want. Stop telling us what we want, Apple and Amazon, and start asking us. Oh, look, I'm back to having conversations. Start asking us what we want. Let me get rid of the Fourth Amendment there so you can see my beautiful full face. It's about asking your customers what they want. I'm not even use the word consumer because I'm at the point right now, I'm about to start a nonprofit. I would love to hear from you down below if you want to be involved in this. I'm about to start a nonprofit called CNC. CNC. We're dynamite. Customers, not consumers. How do you feel about being called a consumer? That just speaks to the unconscious nature of collecting data to understand an audience, to understand my customers, to understand the market, right? Consumers. It's like, moo. I want customers. I want to be called a customer and I want customer service. They don't call it consumer service because consumers are unconscious, like an animal that's not aware it's about to go to the slaughterhouse. That's what a consumer is. We happen to be customers. We want customer service and we want the consideration of a customer. So if you want an advantage over Amazon, if you want an advantage over Walmart, if you want an advantage over Apple or any other of these ginormous multinational corporations, abandon data now. That's all they've got. If you're Amazon, you can't be having a conversation with each and every customer that's using your platform. If you're Apple, you can't do that. It's impractical. They have grown so big, so unwieldy, they can't even manage themselves. They just need more and more and more revenue to keep the machine alive, more and more profits, right? Apple has a market cap of over $2 trillion. That's unheard of. When they broke up Standard Oil for antitrust violations, it had accumulated, the market cap was equivalent to $1 trillion today. And they said, nope, you're too big. Well, where's the judiciary today? Where's the Supreme Court ruling on these behemoths that basically, listen, where's my phone? It's over there on the bed. All right, I can point to it, right? That phone, that used to be just for having conversations with other people. It has become so much more, and I would say unnecessarily. Yeah, it's all flashy and glitzy with all the bells and whistles, right? Oh, I can monitor my health and I can do this and that and this and that, all on that little box over there. Well, that little box is a spy box. It's following you around. It's watching everything you're doing, and it's providing that data to the big guys who are harvesting it, aggregating it, coming up with conclusions about unconscious behavior in consumers, and then modeling their businesses and their marketing plans and even the products that they want to sell after that data that they have harvested from unconscious consumers' behaviors. Not only that, it's not just good enough that they've got it, but then they turn around and they sell that data to all their competitors, right? Apple and Google are competing? I don't think so. Just the illusion of competition is more like it. Point being is that they turn around and then they sell that data to their competitors and to any other big giant business that can afford that kind of premium on they have that in their marketing budget, right? They're not a solopreneur. They're not a small startup business like us. That's the advantage we have. We can pivot like nobody's business. We can restructure our business overnight. Do you think Apple can restructure their business? Do you think Amazon? No. They are entrenched in how they do things. And as long as we are patrons and continue to unconsciously vote for yes every time we shop at Walmart or Amazon or Apple, we're basically saying this is good. This is what we want more of. So that is my whole point here today, is to wake you up to realizing how it's not ideal. even though everyone's shouting at the hilltops how ideal and how amazing this stuff is and how it's going to save humanity. No, probably not. I'm not going to talk about the shot, but we know about all that. Unless you've been living in a cave under a rock somewhere, listening only to one source of information, haven't bothered to go outside of your known and actually look and listen and hear what are other people saying? Well, what's the story that's not on CNN or not the New York Times? What are the smaller guys saying, right? It's an interesting and fascinating time because we're taking it over. So our rights, right? What happened to our rights? To me, that's important. I value my privacy and I don't want people spying on me. Really? You want somebody following you around while you do your errands throughout the day? Standing there while you're filling up your car with gas, watching what is it you're looking up on your phone, what is it you're searching for, what is it you're buying. This is spying, folks. Plain and simple. Just because your name is not personally attached to that little packet of data doesn't mean it's not spying. Like, this would be totally unacceptable in the physical world. Imagine going to a department store. Do we even still have department stores? And as you're walking around shopping, they decide to give you an assistant to follow you around while you're shopping to, assist you. No, what they really are doing is they're packaging this as a helpful service for you, but the truth is it's just spying on you. So here's this assistant following you around the department store, taking notes, right? Looked at these, looked at that, tried this on, tried that on, scoffed at this, laughed at this, was jealous of the other woman putting this on, tried this on but would not try this on. All that stuff, right? Like, how comfortable would you feel if this assistant was following you around while you were shopping in that department store? Then it's no different. This is just done invisibly behind the scenes, and we're unwitting about it. Unless maybe you want to be spied on. I don't know. It seems to be like the norm these days, as everyone starts to get friendlier and friendlier with China and socialism. Maybe that's the direction we're headed. Maybe America's done for. Maybe it's over. Maybe all of it's gone. Who knows? I sure know without a doubt that if nobody stands up for our Bill of Rights, that's why RFK Jr. 2024, just to throw that out there, go declare your independence from the system. Rights. Okay, moving on. Don't forget your bonus. Share this live right now with at least one friend, and then message me done. And I will send you my calendar link, and we will get you a firsthand experience of true objectivity, of true understanding from firsthand experience. It's enlightening. That's the best way I can describe it. It's that profound. Okay. And if you're not that ambitious, then just leave a hashtag found fun down below. When I see it, I'll send you a DM with the details about how to join my list and get yourself a complimentary firsthand experience of a present moment perspective. It just takes a little bit longer. A couple of hoops you got to jump through that way versus the other way. I reward action. That's the whole point of a fast action bonus. All right, let's recap real quickie. Real quick. We just explored 3 reasons why engaging your ideal customer is way better than spying on them. Have you been paying attention? Let's real quickly, without a whole lot of belaboring, Consciousness is like an iceberg. Understanding that is understanding where you're collecting data. You're not collecting conscious data. That requires participation. That requires permission. No, you're collecting unconscious data. When you're spying on somebody and they're not aware that you're spying on them, that's unconscious. It's not ideal. All right, number 2 was, is your ideal client conscious or unconscious? For the big guys out there that are just into units and quarterly reports and profits and losses and everything is aggregated and they could care less about the human beings they're actually providing a service for, then you might love unconscious customers or unconscious consumers. I sure know that the biggest brands out there and businesses today, they thrive on unconscious consumers. The smaller boutique businesses that weren't all out massive growth tend to gravitate towards conscious clients, partnerships, relationships. Let's do this together. Number 3, understanding through experience. Understanding through firsthand experience trumps the secondhand knowledge acquired from collecting data. Objectivity is no thing. If you are looking to be more objective in your decisions and in your strategizing, and you falsely believe that data is going to help you with that, give me the chance to introduce you to a present moment perspective so that you can experience firsthand what objectivity truly feels like and how easy it is to access and utilize in the designing and planning of your business. And of course, I belabored on it, but the bonus, what happened to our rights, specifically the Fourth Amendment? I don't know about you, but I value my privacy and I don't want somebody spying on me and in my bathroom watching what kind of toilet paper I'm using. That's what they're doing. If they're following you to Walmart when you go to purchase something, they know what kind of toilet paper you use. Then they can use AI and aggregate it further, and then they can realize how much toilet paper you're using. Well, they're buying 10 rolls every month, so they're averaging about a roll a week. So they're using this brand of toilet paper this often. That's the kind of information they are gathering through the data that they're collecting. Do you want the public to know? Do you want businesses out there to know what kind of toilet paper you use and how much you use it and how frequently you go to the bathroom? Am I making my point? I'm pretty sure I have. Moving on. So that was 3 reasons why engaging your ideal customer is way better than spying on them. And for those of you that do not understand what I'm talking about when I say engaging, I'm talking about having a conversation, being present and actually hearing what a person's wants and needs are, hearing what a person's objections are, real time, not guessing, right? Oh, I did all the research and I'm going to guess what this person's objection is. Instead of just asking, what's stopping you from doing this? Look, I'm not any better at sales than anybody else. I'm pretty bad, actually, because I find there's a misalignment in me between deceiving a person for their own benefit and them being conscious, because what it is I offer comes with the whole package of joy and bliss, but also discomfort, fear, terror, all the stuff that's keeping us from the joy and bliss. You got to go through that. So I tend to scare off the chicken hearts. I love that term. people that don't have the fortitude, the will, and the commitment to see this process through, right? But again, do you want conscious customers or unconscious customers? And blah, blah, blah. Wrapping up. Tune in Thursday right here. 3:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Catch me live here on Facebook on my page. I love some love on my page. Go over there and like it and follow it so that you get notifications. Apparently, that seems to be where notifications come through these days. They don't come through so often through my profile. So make sure you're liking my page. And definitely subscribe on my YouTube channel. That will totally help me get the message out there so that we can turn things around. They're already turning around. Might not look like it, but remember that overused saying, it's always darkest before the dawn. Pretty damn dark right now, right? Well, the dawn's right around the corner. Looking forward to it. So remember, I did not share with you who I am and what qualifies me to be telling you all about the fundamentals of being human. But let me at least share with you my value statement. I support diehard experts and entrepreneurs serving the greater good. My goodness. That's my life right there. What did I end up doing? Isn't that wonderful? And it's probably right here. Yeah. That was an unconscious behavior on my part. I support diehard experts and entrepreneurs serving the greater good to have even more impact on our world by introducing them to a present moment perspective so they can effortlessly access superhuman focus, clarity, and well-being without getting distracted and discouraged by the familiar struggles, curveballs, and unexpected delays that haunt most unaware people's lives every day. Good thing they're not aware, huh? I do this using firsthand experience and my proprietary new spotting technique as part of the Found Fun Discovery Method via intense, one-on-one, structured, regular practice sessions over the phone and Zoom. Remember, the fastest way to get to where you want in life is with a guide who has been there before you. Common sense, right? This is the true value of hiring a coach, trainer, guru, guide, whatever you want to, whatever label you want to give, it's not important. It's a mentor. It's somebody that has been down the path that you are on and want to complete yourself. Get yourself that expert support. I highly recommend it. The alternative is a lot. You might save money, but you're going to waste a lot of time and you're going to make a lot of mistakes. And I'm speaking from my own firsthand experience. But at the same time, just a quick little caveat, if you do end up going with an expert coach, trainer, guru, whatever you want to call them, don't throw your hands up as if they have the answer. Remember, in relativity, their answer isn't a perfect fit for you, but their answer, what worked for them, is going to help you point towards what's going to work for you much better than being blind and in the dark, groping around looking for the solution to your problems in life. So get yourself that guide. I'm going to wrap up right now. Appreciate you being on here for a whole hour and a half. Let's close this out with, remember to take care, be aware. I really appreciate you being on here, and I look forward to the feedback.